as in our previous topic, we discussed about the Oracle architecture, okay, where we understood like it is a combination of instance and database storage. So where instance is nothing but your background processes and memory area, where SGA, UGA, PGA, all those memory area and background processes are like DZ writer, log writer, or checkpoint, archiver, all those things, right? And now we will discuss about what are the things which are coming inside the database storage architecture. So when it is coming to the storage architecture, it is related to the files, like the actual file which is present inside your database. Okay, so here you can able to see with the in the diagram, you can see there are different files, right? Control file, data file, online redo log file, backup file, archive redo log files, parameter file, then password file, and alert log. Okay. So in our previous session, I think we discussed about few files, right? So can anyone volunteer? What are the important files which we discussed in our previous session?
So
Anyone?
important, any important file would be control file, then data files, and then redo log files.
Okay, correct.
All these are important files.
Okay,
And parameter files, password file.
correct, correct, correct. So all these files are important, like control file, data file, or password files, or redo log files. Why it is important? Like for each and every stages, these files are being used, okay, to making your database up and running, or like as I said, as each and every process is having their independent role to perform inside the database, like that only each and every files is having their roles to perform the activity to be done. Okay, so in our previous session we discussed about control file, right? Like too much we discuss about control file, like if suppose control file got deleted, so we will not able to bring up the database. So can anyone tell like why we control file is so important? And anyone like Mansa or Sambad or Sweta?
Yeah, a control file, it stores the information where the actual DB files are present, and it also stores information like when backup has happened and other
Correct,
activities.
correct, correct, correct. Very good. So let's first discussing about each and every file. Before that, let's discuss how our database system. Okay. So when we run our, here we don't have marker, no? One minute. Okay. So initially, when we run a startup command, okay, so it will look for the parameter file, whether it may be your P file or SP file. Okay, in P file or SP file only your parameter are passed. Okay? So when you start a command in your database, the first thing it will look for the P file or SP file. So P file or SP file is your parameter file. Okay. So in that file, what it will see, it will look for the location of the control file and the initial like memory location part, like okay, how much AGA need to be allocated, and how much process or how much sessions need to be given to start this database. So those information, it will be there in the parameter file, and based on that it will start. So the moment it will start, the database will be moved, like if you have SP file, and if you don't have other file, like if you don't have control file, and if you don't have your what to say data file, then also like if you have only SP file, you can bring up your database till no mount state. Okay, you just have to set the parameter and just like you can file command like a startup no mount, where p file equal to the p file location. Okay, p file or sp file, whatever it may be. Okay, so the moment you will do that, one how to so as I said, the moment it will this p file read, it come to the no mount state, then it will look for the control file location which is present in the p file. So from that location, it will go to the control files. Okay. So as I said, like control file is very much important. Why it is important? It is keeping the information about the data files. It is also keeping the information about your redo log files. It is keeping location about your backup files. It is also keeping information about like the logs, like alert log, all those information, like where those files are located. To reaching all those file location, we need this control file. Okay. Once we fire this startup command, as I said, parameter file read. From parameter, it will read the control file location, and from control file, we will get the location of all those files, all other files, like all the information, what backup has been done, and all the information you need. So like if you have control file, na, so till suppose if you don't have this, if you don't have data file, okay, if you don't have backup file, if you don't have online redo log, all those things, then if you have only till control file, if you have, then you can able to bring up your database till mount state. Okay, till here you can able to bring up your database till no mount. Okay, and this mount, no mount, these are the phases, uh, like stages in database. When you bring up the when you fire the command, so it will go to the no mount state, and from no mount it will go to mount, and then from mount it will go to open. Okay, so if you have p file and if you have control file, so from p file, it can, your database will come till no mount, and from with the help of control file, it can come till mount state. Okay, but to make database till open, because until database will come in open state, end user will not able to connect, or end user will not able to perform their operation. We need all this file, right? Like data file for making the capturing the changes. It need online redo logs. Those changes need to be written. It will be written like archive redo logs, and to make the like if any alert or anything is which is happening in the database is required the alert log. So suppose if this location or any of the file which is not present, okay, in that case it will throw error. Like I brought my database to mount state, okay, and suppose one of my data file is itself is deleted from the original location. Okay, so in this control file is the data file 1, 2, 3, or what may be it may be. All those location will be present in the control file, right? So if the location it will in the open state, it will go to that location and see like whether that data file is present or not. And if it will not find that location, or those information, if it is mismatching, it will fail in that state. It will just stop your database to come into the open state. Okay, so that's why all files are important. Now we understood, right, at what stage what are the files are used, like from our startup to open state, what are the files which are needed.
Yes, Rahul. Understood.
Okay, okay, fine. Suppose just a question. Okay, Suppose if I have deleted archive logs, and after that, after deleting the archive logs, my database I have brought down, and when I try to bring up the database, will it will come to open state or not? If it will come, then why it will, how it will come, and if it will not come, then why it will not come. Suppose I have deleted this archived redo logs. I have not deleted online redo logs. I have deleted archived redo logs. So whether my database
So
will,
Rahul, for this database will come up to open stage, and the database will not be hampered for this because all the details, all the data files, control files is already updated, but we won't be able to get the previous data. So that's the only disadvantage for it. But other than that, database will be up running on to without losing. I mean, with losing of archive log files.
okay, somewhere close, but not exact answer which I am looking for. Anyone else
Okay.
wanted to try?
If we are in the middle of any recovery and something, then database will not open. Otherwise, database opens up.
Okay, fine. Uh, Mansa or Sambat?
I think like even without archival logs, database will be up because the active log files are the online redo log files, right? Um,
Correct, correct. And Sambat?
Sir, online redo log files will be there, so database won't be hampered because of deleting archive redo log files.
Correct. Correct. Mansa and Samad is like correct, because like when we bring up the database, okay, so it will look for the data files and online redo logs. Archived redo logs is something, these logs are needed in the standby side. If your standby, which is configured like data guard or something, golden gate, if you have configured and your archiver is on, for that point of time only these logs are needed. Okay, so you can your database will come up. Okay, no doubt in that your database will come up, but suppose if those log files which is not applied in the standby side, and it has to be applied, and before that only if we have deleted those files, then your standby will not get in sync. Okay, so in case of data guard, like where your primary and DR setup is there, so in that case, we are enabling the archives. Like we usually enable the archive logs, and these archive logs go to the standby state, and those standby those logs are getting applied in the standby database. After that, it will, like suppose the changes which is happening in the production side, the same changes are getting reflected in the standby side. But suppose if someone had deleted before it could transfer to the standby side or DR side, and someone had deleted these files, so in that case there will be a gap, and your database, your DR will not able to get sync with the DC. So that's why this file, archive redo log is also important, but not as important to bring up your database. Like it will hamper your database to come up. Okay. So like Sweta and Siddharth. So doubt like now clear, right?
Yes, yes, clear, clear, clear.
Okay. So so I think now we have cleared about the control file, why it is so important. Now let's move on to the data files. Okay. Uh, Now no doubt, right, related to control file.
So
Everyone.
I have one doubt.
Ah,
So if we So database should be up running with SP file or P file.
It can completely depend on the organization, but like better to run with the SP5, because if you run with the SP file, the processing is quite faster compared to P file. Okay, since like SP file is written in the binaries, so like processing is quite
Okay,
faster compared to P file.
okay,
Okay,
understood.
and one more thing, like whenever you are creating SP file, so it's best practice to keep up a backup of your P file also. Like suppose if you're creating a SP file, so it's not like you delete your P file and just create your SP file, because to finding out the parameters and all, it will be difficult to find in SP file, since it is not in a human readable format. Okay.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay. Anyone else? Any doubt? Shall we proceed to the data files?
E- yes, yes, clear.
Okay.
If one of the files, SP file or P file is deleted, will the other file work or not?
Sorry.
If SP file is deleted, will P file work or not?
If your SP file is deleted, your P file will work. Na? The thing is, your P file should be in the location, your DBS location. Like suppose
Okay.
if you have kept your P file in where temp, and your DBS location is locating to the Oracle home slash DBS. So if it will not find that location, it will not going to come up.
Okay.
In that case, you have to give the path. Like in that case, if you wanted to bring up your database, then you have to give like a startup mount, or a startup no mount, P file equal to the location. Suppose if you kept in where temp location only, then you have to give that path. It will come up till then.
Okay.
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 Okay. So let's moving on to the data files. Okay. So before discussing about the data files, let's discuss about the logical file system. Okay. So are you guys aware about the logical file system present in the database? What are the logical file systems?
Yes, so it consists of sysox file, system files, and redolog files.
No, that is redo log files is a physical file. I'm talking about the logical file.
Logical. No, I'm not able to recollect it.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else like logical? Have you heard about table space, extend, anything such?
Yes, yes.
So, are we clear about those things? Like, are we aware about like what are those um, logical files, or no? Hello.
Rahul, somewhat clear regarding the logical. Not 100% clear onto that.
Okay. Okay. Fine. What about others? Hello.
No, sir, I don't have knowledge regarding that.
Okay. So as we know, like in working in the database, okay, it completely work as a logical thing. Like suppose you have to create the tables. So though it is writing in the physical files, but to read those things, it is written in the logically, right? In terms of table, it is creating, and all the rows or all those things are written with the help of command or queries, right? It is not something like which we are copying or pasting it in the database. We are just writing in terms of commands and queries only, right? So in that case, like logical file system of a database, unit of the logical file system is a data block. Okay, one single data block is the smallest unit for a logical file system. A combination of block makes a extend. Okay, and the combination of extend makes a segment, and a set of segment makes a table space. So whenever we are creating any table, okay, we are creating a table and we are storing it not directly into the data file. We are storing it into the table space. The table space is a logical storage structure for a database, where like we are keeping. Suppose in your database, you can able to see 500 GB table space which is created. Okay, and out of that 500 GB table space, around 300 GB get utilized. So it is a consumption like it is a logical logical storage system which we can able to view it, we can able to see it, but physically those the size of those particular logical file system or logical storage like table space is increased with the help of physical files called data files. Okay, if I have to increase a file size of a particular table space, I need to add data files onto that table space, then only it will going to increase, and then only it will going to write the information into it. Like suppose if your table space size is 500 GB, so it can only write till 500 GB, right? And suppose records are getting inserted into a particular table, so those tables are those tables are saved in a table space. And suppose the records are growing. Okay, your table earlier in your table only 50,000 records are there. Suppose there are insert operation happen where like from 50,000 it is about to become 5 lakh. So definitely there is a grow in size, right? So if I'm inserting a particular records into a particular table, so it will going to grow. If a table will grow, so directly it will going to impact your table space where that particular table is residing. So if your table space is getting utilized, so if we have to sustain, like if that operation should not get failed in between, we have to increase the space, right? This we can understand in terms of a normal chronology. Like suppose if you have a house of like 1 BHK house, okay, and where one member is staying, okay, and that member after person, he get married, okay, he get married, that person, a new person came, so he need more space. So he later his children will come, and based on that, the moment the family is growing, he needs more space. To get that more space, either he has to relocate from that 1 BHK to 2 BHK, or he has to like if he is owning that house, then he has to reconstruct that particular place, right? So like that, in terms of database also, like if your particular size is growing, so to you have to like increase that particular logical file system or logical space, like logical space called table space. To grow, to increase the size of that particular table space, we need a data file. Like how to increase the size of your house, you need a concrete or other different raw materials, right? Like that only raw material here we can consider as to increase the size of a table space, we need a data file. So suppose if I have to increase a size of 50 GB or 100 GB of that particular table space, I'll add accordingly the data file. Okay. So did we understood the point? Like where I'm going to create the new data file and I'll add to that particular table space so that that table space can able to perform the activity. So did we understand the concept about the data file and what is the use of that data file?
Yes, understood.
Others?
Yes.
Okay. Here I have one more question. Okay. Basically, we are creating data file. If you have ASIM, ASIM disk, like file system, or if you have local file system. So we are creating data file using the local like a space. Suppose if you have ASM of 5 TB, okay. So from that 5 TB only, we will going to create one file called one data file, and we will going to assign that data file to a particular table space. Okay. If you have a file system, then we will take from that file system only. We will, like, either it may be U01, U02. From that file system only, we will take the space and we will going to assign that data file. Suppose your file system only 500 GB, okay, free, and you have data file, like you have sufficient data file which is need to be added in the table space, and your table space is currently 20 GB free. Okay, you wanted to one in application team came to your desk and said, they said, okay, today night we have some activity, so there will be a huge number of records which going to be inserted in this particular table. So kindly take care of your table space. It should be properly, the proper space should be there, so that like there should not be outage during time of our activity. They come with that, and you seen like you did your proper check, and there you found like, okay, your file system is having around 50 GB free space, and your table space is having around 20 or 30 GB free space, and you are expecting around 70 or 80 GB records which need to be inserted. In that case, what you will do to increase your table space size? Like, you will going to add a data file directly, how much space which is needed, or other steps also need to be taken care here in that case.
No, before that, we will just do housekeeping of whether we can delete old files which
Housekeeping
is
of
not in
what you
needed.
will do, Siddharth. The thing is, here you have to understand, everywhere you cannot do housekeeping, right? The thing is, when it comes to data files, you cannot perform housekeeping on data files, right? because
Okay.
because as I said initially only, when you bring up the database, data files is one of the important thing. If any of your data file got deleted,
Yes.
your database will not come up, right? It will going to get crashed. So
Yes.
what all the things or what all the action you will take uh, to make your activity successful? Like, suppose in night that activity need to be performed by application team, it should not fail. There will be no outage, and your task is also got complete. Anyone else? Like, I think everyone understood the question, right?
Yes.
Sweta, answer, Sambat. Like, if you don't understood the question, please let me know. I can rephrase it.
Yeah.
Can we add on the table space?
Can we?
Increase the table space, like increasing the volume and later increasing the table space.
Huh. We have to increase the table space, but you don't have the space, right, in the local mountain. So first action what you will do, your same or your mount point, you don't have a space.
Okay.
In that case,
You can get more point.
okay, correct. Yeah, answer, you're telling something.
In table spaces, we have like AMS table spaces, right? Automatic managed storage.
Correct.
We can use that based on the requirement. It will allocate the number of containers required. And
That is fine, but the thing is, see, now my the utilization of my table space is less. Okay, but I am aware in the night there will be huge records which is going to come, and if it will come, it will going to increase the table size, and since the table that where the records are going to be inserted, that table is sitting in a particular table space. So indirectly, it will going to increase the table space size also. So once the free space is going to be utilized, so what we will do? We will add the files, right? We will add the data file. But in case like if we don't have enough space present in our particular mount point or SMDs, in that case, what we can do?
we can reclaim some of the space, unused space as well, right? By ordering the table spaces at
See, more or less it is correct, but the thing is, it is quite kind of lengthy process. Okay. What Sweta said, it is,
So can we just alter the database by using auto extend on?
see, if you do auto extend on, okay, just try to understand the concept. Okay. If I did, if I have 10 data files, okay, with 1 GB, and I made it auto extend on, so it will extend 31 GB, correct? The maximum size of the data file.
Yes.
And by that time it will go to support, but what will happen, suppose my particular from space, it has to be taken from somewhere, right? Physical location. So if your physical location is not having sufficient space, so at the end what it will happen, it will get 100%, right? And your total space also gets full, and your mount also got full. So as Sweta said, in his first we have to request for the mount point or particular space. Okay. If like this kind of scenario might come to your organization when you are working. So if you are aware about the thing, okay, when huge number of people are coming, suppose if the file system is going to grow, like if that particular table is going to grow, and it can consume file system, and the first thing you will check whether I have sufficient space in the table space or not. The first thing you check, you found like, okay, I require 70 GB, but in the table only 20 GB is, which means I need 50 more GB, correct? To accommodate 50 GB, I can add data file, but from where I will add the data file, I will add from the file system. So the first check, table space. The second check, I'll do whether in my file system do I have the sufficient space. If yes, then well and good, I'll take that and I'll utilize it. But if we don't have that amount of space, in that case, we require either storage team or Linux help to for space. Like we need now we need physical space, right? For S we need to request to the storage team, okay, give us 1 TB of 100 GB so that we can.
So now we start with the next file, which is online redo log file. Okay, so online redo log file is basically used for the change in the data. So whenever there is a DML statement which is executed in a database, in that case this online redo log comes into the picture. DML statement is nothing but your insert, delete, update kind of statement when a user wanted to proceed with related to table. In that case, this online redo log files comes into the picture. What it will do, those changes which happen to that particular table, it will going to store it, okay, and later it will going to update in the database. So this is the main purpose of the online redo log. Hope everyone understood about the use of online redo log and importance of online redo log in Oracle database. Now coming to the next file, which is archive redo log files. So this archive redo logs files is nothing but when you enable your archiver, so the changes which is happening in your online redo log, those changes are written in form of archive redo logs. So suppose if I have configured a DR in my database is having DC and DR setup, so in that case the changes which is happening in the DC side, to make those changes reflect is a DR side, I need this archive redo logs, because until this redo logs files get transferred to the DR side, the changes which happen in the DC side, those changes will not going to reflect. Though the configuring the data guard or anything, high biblioteca thing, it is required like other setups as well, but you can understand in terms of archive redo logs, it is kind of one of the important file which is needed for making your database as a sync. Okay, so if I wanted to make my DC and DR changes to be applied or to be reflected as in sync, I need this archive log, and so that's why this is also one of the important file. As initially I said, like even though your archive log got deleted, it will not directly impact your database will come up, but it is indirectly impact. Suppose if your data guard configuration is there, so from DC to DR, if it is not getting sync, and before that only someone has mistakenly deleted this file, so your DR, like it is become out of sync. So which means the changes happening in DC are not getting reflected in DR side. So that's why these archive logs are also one of the important files we can consider. Hope everyone understood about the importance of archive redo log files, and if you guys are having any doubt in terms of this file, you can go through the documents, or you can go through the source related to these files in detail. You can study about this, and any doubt you can ask in the comment section. We'll try to clear it out. Okay, let's move to the next file, which is our backup files. When it comes to the backup file itself is not a single file, like based on the backups which we are going to take in our database, like whether it may be full backup, incremental backup, or archival backup. Based on that, the files are getting generated. So suppose if in my organization we have a database of 1 TB, and I have a space for taking backup is 500 GB, or 1 or 2 TB size is there in my backup location, and I wanted to take the backup of that particular 1 TB database on a weekly basis, full backup, and daily basis incremental backup, whereas archive backup should be 15 minutes. So all those backup are getting stored in the backup location which I am going to set it, and that's why why this backup is important. Suppose some misfortune happen with my database, and if my database get crashed, to make this database to up, this backup is very much important. Okay, so in all of the organization where the production databases are running, they usually keep their backup policy intact. So there might be the retention period, or there might be the backup policy different based on the organization requirement, but I believe every company they usually wanted to like every company goes for the backup policy for their production database. Okay, so backup policy is something like based on the size of the database, based on importance of the database, people decide like how to take the backups, and based on that backup, like backup files are getting created. Okay, so once your backup files are getting created, so let's say today I have taken my full backup, and at 9 o'clock, and around 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock my database got crashed. Okay, so how I will able to recover my data, and what are the chances of data loss, those things need to be taken care. So in that case, what I will do, I will first thing I will do, I will restore my full backup, and then I look for whether I have any incremental backup or not, or whether I have archive backups or not, because for covering that 2 hour window I need those backups, right? So to cover those like 2 hour window, if I have incremental backup, so I will I will restore that incremental backup until point in time in the sense, like suppose that incremental backup till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock ahead also, if it is there in the from the production side, if I brought that backup, and if I wanted to restore, then I'll set the time till what time I wanted to restore it. Okay, or suppose like if I am taking my incremental backup on hourly basis, and it is my database crash at 12, and I have incremental backup till 11:30, so I'll restore the full backup and then incremental backup till 11:30, and after that I will look for the archive backup. Okay, if I am having that archive backup, what I will do, I will just apply that archive backup. And basically in all of the organization, they follow like 10-minute or 15-minute gap to keep the archive backup intact, so that there will be less data loss. Okay, so the moment I will restore my archive log, so my database will become kind of zero data loss, because my database got crashed at 11, and with the help of a full incremental and archive logs, I able to restore my data till 11. So if there is 1 or 2 minute delay also, there is very less chances of data loss, unless there is a transaction volume which is running in a database, but there is very less chances of data loss will be there, and this become possible just because of the backup files which we have configured. So that's why backup files is also one of the important thing. So whenever like we are performing the housekeeping or anything in a database, considering the utilization of the mount point, we have to check whether these were backup files which is present in the database is fine or like the valid one or not. Okay, hope we are clear about the backup files. So let's proceed with the next file, which is password file. Okay, so password file importance comes into the picture when like we are configuring our standby. So to connect from the DC to DR, this file plays an important role, because it is keeping the information about your system password. Okay, like system user password. So all those information which is present. So if you keep this password file in your DC, like the password file, like you have to keep the same password file from your DC to DR, so that the connection between DC and DR should be intact, and they can able to communicate within each other. Because if you have to transfer the logs, as I said, like if you have to transfer the archive logs from DC to DR, so there should be connection, right? Connection need to be established. So how it will establish? It will establish with the help of this password file. This password file help DC to connect to the DR and DR server to connect to the DC. So like you can consider as it is kind of key between key for connection between each node, like a database from DC to DR and DR to DC. So this file is also plays an important role in case of your DC DR configuration. So we have to consider this file also as an important file. So I feel you people understood the importance of the password file and why we are keeping this password file intact, and what is the use of the password file and how the data guard how in data guard these password files are used. We'll discuss it later in our further classes when we will discuss about the data guard and all. So now, as for now, you can understand like password file is a kind of key to connect from DC to DR or DR to DC. So it also plays a important role, and it is keeping the information of the system user password. Okay, so I think we have covered about control file, parameter file, control file, data file, online redo log file, archive redo log files, and backup files, and password file. So almost all the files are covered. So last but not the least, this is also one of the important file, and I will consider like for DBA it is like plays a very much important file, which is alert log or trace files. So when we come across with the alert log or trace file, why it is important? So to troubleshoot or to perform the activity related to like what are the action which is happening in a database, to identify what goes wrong and due to what reason your database failure happened, or to perform any troubleshooting, we need this file. Okay, because in your alert log it will like write what are the background processes which is running and what are the changes which is happening in your database, like related to parameter changes if you are doing, or anything, any kind of sort of information, like what all the changes happening in the database layer, that changes sort of information it will going to write in the alert log. Okay, so you can able to understand looking to the alert log. So like recently what Sweta said, like her sister, her database got crashed, right? So there is a task for Sweta to check check the alert log and identify what is the issue, what is the reason for your database to crash. So you can able to go through the alert log. With the help of alert log you can able to identify what is the problem, what is the issue. And I'll also request, like in the alert log you also check like a startup and shutdown sequence, and that you can able to check like in one window you open the alert log, another window you open this your put decision, where you can just perform that shutdown shut immediate. So all those sequence it will like what all the which I explained initially, like in no mount it will to bring up the database in no mount, the p file sp file is read, after that control file is read to make the database still mount, and once the all the data files are readable or in the accessible format, then your database will come up because all the information present in the control file. So those changes, those what all the things you can able to view in the alert log, like the if you execute this startup command, you can able to see the sequence how it is writing. Okay, so I request the people who is having the configuration or having the database configured in you. Please try to practice this thing so that you can able to see like how the startup or end sequence working in the background side. Okay, so now coming to the next file, which is trace files. So trace file is kind of like, it is not a normal human readable format. Here you will get some sort of information, but whenever there is a issue, okay, so related to issue, for that particular incident, for that particular incident or that particular time period, there is a set of trace files which Oracle generally generate. Or if you have enabled a trace log, trace in your database, it will going to generate the trace logs. So those logs is helpful to when you will raise a OEM ticket with Oracle to identify the root cause of your database. Suppose you will not able to find out like what gone wrong in a alert log, you only to you can see the few information like at this particular time some ORA error came, and after that the database went down. But why that ORA error came and what is the reason for that, we might need to log a ticket with OEM. So OEM team or Oracle team always go for the alert log and trace logs. So they might ask you to say the set of trace logs which got generated during the time of incident. So like for troubleshooting or for the problem during the time of issue or problem solving time, these two files plays a very important role. And as a DBA, I request like at least each and every DBA should understand to how to read alert log at least. Like trace log anyway, like you cannot able to read it simply, but for alert log at least you should understand, okay, what is going on, what background process triggered at that time, and what went wrong with your database due to which it went down. Okay, so hope today's topic clear with everyone, and we will try to create some entertaining videos, some smaller videos to related to relevant to the topics, so that you people can understand and make this learning journey so that your learning journey will become more enjoyable and you can understand the things more easily and more comfort way. So I will try to upload some more videos in my channel. I'll upload this video also into my channel so that you people can refer it, and the people who didn't get chance to join our training session, they can also contact me through LinkedIn or through my contact number, through my WhatsApp group. You can contact me, and if you're interested to join, you can join our session because it's only 2 classes, so you can get benefited with the help of this class, and based on the session you can give your feedback, your comment. If you do like the channel, so please subscribe it, and these videos are completely free. You can use you can take use of these videos and you can learn the database basics, and hopefully this will help you to grow your career. Thank you everyone. Thank you for watching our video, and please do subscribe our channel. Thank you.